Little information heading into this. I work in the auto industry dealership parts department to be exact. This means I have a uniform, which is slacks, shoes, polo shirt, and a jacket in the automaker's colors with their name embroidered on the left chest. At the time of this incident, I worked for an auto manufacturer whose logo is a big T in an oval. The internal name is the sombrero. This meant my polo shirt was black with red sides and a huge red T logo along with the dealer's name on it. So here we go. Back in March, I'd just gotten off my late shift. The dealer I was with at the time was open till 7. On the way home, I stopped at Big Mart that used to use a smiley logo, where employees wear blue vests, to get some groceries for dinner along with flowers for my dad and stuff to make a cake for my mom's birthday. A lot of significant dates happen in the first 2 weeks of March for our family. When I go shopping, I usually put in my Bluetooth earbuds as I don't want to talk to people, and it helps deter those annoying cable internet power salespeople that roam the aisles of this store trying to sell you their stuff. My headphones at the time were a pair of Adidas Adistar by Monster. They were Bluetooth with a cord between the two and a little inline controller on the right side. This is relevant later. Now, I'm in the store. It's about 7:25 p.m., and I've got my earbuds in. I'm in the baking aisle looking for caster sugar. Our Mart of Walls does carry it, and I notice someone off to my right. I don't think anything of it. It's a steady evening for them. This location is always busy. I finally settle on some sugar and go to reach for it when I feel a sharp pain in my ears, followed by someone yelling at me. I turn and yell, "What the hell?" And I'm face to face with a woman, maybe 40-ish, about my height, 5'10". She's dressed quite smartly, high-heel boots, leggings, an expensive-looking coat, shoulder-length hair, earrings that look painfully heavy, yelling at me and holding my headphone. She had grabbed the controller and yanked them out as I couldn't hear her talking to me. She starts telling me off that it's very unprofessional for me to be wearing headphones while working. How dare I talk to her like that, and that she's been trying to get my attention as she needs me to fetch her something. I snap back that I don't work and demand my earbuds back. She responds that I obviously do from how I'm dressed and that I'm just lazy, then looks at my headphones in her hand with a smirk and says, "You won't be needing these," proceeds to throw them on the ground and start stomping on them. I'm furious and start shouting at her about what makes her think I work here and proceed to point at the logo on my shirt and call her a moron. At this point, a crowd has started to gather at either end of the aisle to see what all the commotion is. I guess an employee had heard something and called a manager or security as someone in a white business shirt with a company lanyard around their neck came down the aisle to break us up and see what was happening. She immediately starts going off at him about how lazy and unprofessional his employees are and how she wants to talk to corporate. He turns to me and starts to ask why I was ignoring her and wouldn't help her. When he notices my shirt, "You don't work here, do you?" as he's staring at me. "No, I work at insert dealer name, up the road. I'm just here to pick up a few things and this psycho attacked me." He apologizes and asks me if she hurt me, and I responded, "Just my ears," when she yanked the earbuds out and then stomped them. She starts snarling that I'm lying, I'm a piece of trash, and I need to be fired. He turns to her, picks my headphones up, and tells her that he does not approve of violence in his store, and that authorities are already on their way. The police station is 1.5 miles from the store. He asks me to check my headphones to see if they work. Shocker, they don't. When she yanked the controller, it must have damaged the wires as the right one cuts in and out. I say as much. We've now been escorted to the front of the store by customer service, and sure enough, 2 officers are standing by the counter. They took statements from both of us, her flailing her arms about as she gave hers. One of the officers then went with the store manager to review the cameras. The entire time we were waiting with the officer, she kept mouthing off how I'm gonna get in so much trouble when she's proven right and innocent, and that she hopes that this ends with me in cuffs. The officer with us just told her to be quiet till they were done. The manager and officer come back out after a few minutes, and the officer asks, Would you like to press charges? She starts going, Yes, please, officer. I don't want someone like this out in public. His response, I was actually talking to him, while gesturing to me. I say yes, I would, as my ears still hurt and she broke my earbuds. She's sputtering and coughing like my little classic car on a cold morning, whining that she's the victim. They ask me if I can verify the amount the headphones cost when I bought them new, as she'll be required to reimburse me. Thank you, Big Blue Electronics Store, for online account purchases. In the end, she had to give me the $100 the earbuds had cost me, which went towards my new Klipsch McLaren edition, 5 earbuds, and they escorted her out of the store. They gave me the flowers for my father's gravesite and a cake for my mom's birthday as an apology. It didn't end there, though. She called the dealer I work at because their name was embroidered on my shirt to complain about me and the trouble I caused her. They called me into the owner's office to tell me what happened and advised me to be less dramatic next time, but I wasn't fired or anything. But that dealer was a terrible place to work. I quit about 5 months later, and I've since changed dealerships to the Big Blue Oval. I must point out that this took place about 10-15 years ago. When I was in my early 20s, I was a manager at a movie theater chain. It was a great job with tons of awesome first experiences in my life. It was one of the first in the area that included a game room, restaurant, and bar. I never thought there would be a problem with the bar, considering maximum movies were around 3 hours, and usually people didn't want to leave the movie to grab refills and miss a key part of the movie. One evening, the last film already started. I was counting down drawers, sending the majority of the staff home, all except one young new usher whose job was to make sure there weren't any problems in the theaters and bid guests a good night as they exited the theaters following the end of their movies. I was finishing the counting of the draws and doing final paperwork when the other manager asked to go home earlier. There hadn't been any reason to have more than one manager there when the night was pretty much over with. It wasn't even a few minutes after the other manager had left, and I got a call in the office asking me to come out as a few guests wanted to speak to me. When I came out from the rear of the concession counters, the usher, Joel, was standing there with these 2 elderly women. They tell him, Sir, we would like to make a complaint. There's a man in our theater that is yelling at his wife. We think he's drunk and he seems like he is going to become abusive. That's about the gist of what they had to say. Then they proceeded to tell me that they asked their husbands to do something, but there was no such luck there. I told her I would take care of it. The ladies walked back off to the theater. I told my usher to come with me as I walked into the theater. I walked in, didn't show myself, just sat in the hallway and listened for anything that seemed to be true. Didn't take long. A roar of a voice shouting at the woman for spilling the popcorn and yada yada yada, can't do anything right. I appeared and was able to spot the guy. He stared right at me and didn't try to hide his feelings. What's this jerk want? I acted, walked up the stairs, and asked the guy if he could keep his voice down for the remainder of the movie. He blurted back, I'll do as I please. I stepped back a little by his reply and almost ate crap on the floor filled with soda cups. I looked up to the husbands, and they had the look of worry on their faces, and turned back to the guy. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. You are disturbing others' experience. He stood up. Panic set in, as I had to no longer bend down to talk to him. I had to look up, a quiet look over to the usher, who obviously no longer had my back, and a look back to the gentleman. I'm not going anywhere. A slight urge of fake confidence came as the elderly woman behind us shouted, He's the manager. Do as he says. I then tell him, Sir, you need to leave now. You're going to have to make me. If that's what I've got to do, then... The drunk puts down the beer cup, rolls up his sleeves, and before another second passes, I shout, Not here, outside. I demand. I turn around to walk past my usher as the guy follows me and tells him to call the police. He hurries out and the guy walks out of the theater. He's mad, I'm scared. The door shuts and he gets closer. I stop him and say, It's got to be outside. I'm not getting fired for fighting on the property. I point to the nearest exit and he starts walking with an angry force and I head the same direction behind him, taking off my name badge and tie. The guy barges through the door. I run quickly behind him and shut the door. Thank God the door automatically locks. It takes him a minute to realize what just happened, and if this was a cartoon, steam would be flying out of his nose and ears as he starts hitting the glass hard, enough to crack it before the police arrive. Thankfully, we were by a police fill station, so we never had a problem with them taking too long. A little bit of that fake confidence turned genuine as the police arrived and the guy was put in handcuffs. I talked with the police for a little bit, handed over the video feed of him exiting the theater to walking outside, waited until the movie had finished to inform his wife, who wasn't worried at all that he had gone to jail. She said upon leaving that he deserved a night in there and walked out to her car and left. The elderly woman thanked me and left as well. I went back to the office, finished up my paperwork, left a note for the morning managers to watch the video of my heroism, locked everything up, and headed home. So, my ex-wife and I used to have a great relationship, but she has become petty and somewhat vindictive these last couple months. Our relationship started going downhill after her daughter, my ex-stepdaughter, broke into my house and stole from me and my new wife while we were on vacation together. Yes, I invited my ex-wife and her boyfriend to come on vacation with us, so it would be a family thing. My current wife was completely fine with it. Not only did we invite them, we paid for everything: plane tickets, rental house, meals, activities, etc. We've done this before and it was nice. While we were on this vacation, my ex-wife's daughter broke into our house and stole from us. We had to file a police report because some of the things stolen was medication and we couldn't get new prescriptions without filing a police report. This upset my ex-wife, even though we told her before we called the police and she said, "Do what you need to do." Before this, my ex and I would pretty much just buy what the kids needed while we had them. Every once in a while, she'd ask me to split the cost of some things, and I would. I have never asked her to split the cost of anything prior to this, but lately she has been asking to split the cost of just about everything. Fine, whatever. I usually get most of the things for the kids anyway. About a month ago, my son needed some new equipment for indoor lax. She asked if I would split. I said fine. When she took him out shopping, they couldn't find everything, so I bought most of it online. I asked her what she bought and how much, and I told her what I bought and how much. It turned out she owed me for the split. It was only $40. I would have let it go, but she hounded me for a week over $5. This made her get so mad. She'd be fine when I have to pay her, but gets mad when she has to pay me. I only asked her for the portion of the split because she asked me to split the cost in the first place. We argued back and forth, and then she came up with a list of things we should not have to split and anything else we would split. So I started keeping track of things that I paid for that were to be split between us. So she gave me her list and what I owe her. Not a lot. I owe her $80. But when I gave her my list and her share, she now owes me $425. I hope you're enjoying the split.